Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another video. We got a fun one prepared today. What we'll be doing is we'll be breaking down one of our round 2 college football playoff games we have for the 2024 college football playoff season. We're going to be breaking down the round 2 matchup between number 5 Texas Longhorns versus number 4 Arizona State coming off that bye. We're going to completely break down this matchup, try to predict the outcome, who's going to win, who's going to lose, what the final score will be. We'll also break down the best bets, the money lines, the spreads, the over-unders. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. If you have any comments about this game or anything else, drop it below and I will respond. Every week we're going over every single college football game. We have the bowl games going on right now. We have the college football playoffs going on right now. First season of the 12-team playoff football. A lot going on. We also break down every single NFL game as well. If you're a football fan, if you're a sports fan, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Like I mentioned on the onset, we're going to be breaking down number 5 Texas Longhorns coming into this game 12-2. They did lose in the SEC championship, but they're coming off that solid win in week 1 versus Clemson. That was a fun game. Texas did control the pace of the game pretty much the whole game, but Clemson made a little bit of a game of it there at the very end of the second half. They'll be playing number 4 Arizona State, 11-2. They won the Big 12, first season in the Big 12. Props to Dillingham. He got a lot out of the players he had on this team. First season in the Big 12, they win it, they go to the playoffs. You have to give this team respect, but it's the weapons they have on offense that could potentially make the difference here. This is going to be an SEC matchup versus a Big 12 matchup. Texas, heavy favorites. Right now, they come in 79.6% chance to win this game. 13.5 point favorites. The over here is going to be 51.5. A lot of pressure on Steve Sarkisian's team here. This is not the same Texas team we had last season. Yes, they have a top 10 defense. Well, technically, they have a top 5 overall defense in all of college football. Where the questions are on the offensive side. You cannot doubt the talent on this roster. The number 4 overall roster in all of college football, 4- and 5-star player-wise. They have a really good defense. It's going to be on the offensive side, them controlling the pace. Last year's offense, a lot more efficient, running the ball, throwing the ball, but they really got the run game going there versus the Clemson Tigers. But Clemson's defense did leave a lot to be desired. Can they get Quinn Ewers in that passing game going vertically through the air? Obviously, if you can pass the ball, that's going to open up the rush lanes. If you can run the ball, that's going to open up the play action. That would then open up the passing game. You need both to complement one another. Steve Sarkisian, he really wants to get this offense clicking. It's not bad, but you want it rolling hot, going deeper into the playoffs, especially when you're favored to win this game. You're going to need that offense versus some of these Big Ten potential matchups that you might have coming up down the line. Right now, Quinn Ewers, even though he's missed some games, he's closing in on 2,900 yards, 26 touchdowns, 10 picks. Overall, they're averaging 33.9 points a game, throwing for 288.4. Not bad at all. Running for 173.5, and they really got the game going on the ground versus Clemson. But it's that defense, only giving up 13.3 points per game. That is top 5 in the nation right now. It's actually number 3. They get after it. Where a lot of that pressure comes is on that defensive line. They lost a lot of defensive line players to the draft last season. They've completely replaced them and retooled that defensive line. Top 10 in tackles for a loss, top 10 in sacks, top 10 in quarterback pressures. How much pressure are they going to be able to get on Levitt? Will they be able to force some errant throws? Will they be able to potentially force some turnovers? When you have a really good defensive line, what you're hoping to do is shut down the run game for the opposing team. Arizona State, they are a team that can throw the ball, but they want to establish their offensive attack on the ground at the line of scrimmage. They have Scadaboo, top 5 running back in all of college football. Some people have him as a top 3 running back. It really doesn't matter. This guy's running all over anyone. Coming off of a 200-yard game his last game, he's picking up massive yardage on the ground. But will he be able to do so versus that Texas defense? They're only giving up 177.6 passing, only 104.6 on the ground. A very stout defensive line shutting down the run game. If you shut down the run game, you take Arizona State's strength away from them. You force them into a one-dimensional passing team. And that's going to be easier said than done here because Arizona State, they're obviously missing their number 1 wide receiver. Overall, they're going to be rolling with Levitt at the quarterback position, one of the most underappreciated quarterbacks in the nation right now. He's closing in on 2,700 passing yards, 24 touchdowns, 5 picks. He's kept the turnovers down. When you can run the ball, you can keep that turnover percentage down. They're averaging 33.1, so both teams are basically even on the offensive side. Throwing for 234.8, but it's that running for 198.8, a top 20 rushing team in the nation right now. That's where they want to beat you. They don't want to have to beat you through the air. They want to keep it on the ground. They want to ground and pound over 4 quarters. Can they wear you down? You don't have to compete with them for 1, 2, not even 3. It's 4 quarters of smash mouth physical football. That's how they'd be able to bludgeon these teams throughout the season. But that's going to be easier said than to be able to do that versus the Texas Longhorns defensive line. This team is loaded with all-star players, all-American guys on this defensive line. A lot of guys that are going to be playing on Sundays, and they're very deep. They're going to be able to rotate fresh bodies in. It's going to be strength on strength. Defensive line versus the rushing attack for Arizona State, and they're also giving up 21.3 points per game. Looking at the playmakers here, obviously Texas, Wisner, Golden. One of the big question marks are we going to have a Bond sighting coming up this past weekend? That's the guy that's going to be going as a number 1 round player. They want him on the field. They might not necessarily need him this game, but at some point you're going to need that offensive firepower. Texas had a good running game going versus Clemson, but some of these Big Ten defenses, they're going to shut down your run game, force you into 3rd and long situations. That's where you want those wide receivers that can stretch the field and expand the play calls for you. Now, looking at the other side, obviously they have Levitt closing in on 27 yards, but it's going to be Scadaboo. Scadaboo missed 1 game this season. That was one of their only losses there, and still he's closing in on 1,600 yards, just ground and pounding, wearing people down. This guy has a low center of gravity. He's just bulldozing and running people over. But that was Big 12 football. Can he do it versus one of these deep SEC defensive line teams? Tyson, he's not going to be playing this game, but overall, the wide receiver core the last game in the Big 12 championship completely stepped up as a whole. They have a lot of transfers in there. They have a lot of young talent. They're going to be looking for a way to make a name for themselves. This is going to be the game here. Some people are calling upset. They have Arizona State beating Texas. Look at it like this. Texas just got their first ranked win of the season in round 1 of the playoffs. So someone can't just say Texas is a world beater because up to the round 1, they had yet to beat a ranked team up to that current point of time. Not the toughest schedule so far, but yeah, you can't knock Texas for it. You can only play who is currently on your schedule overall. This is a dominating team. It's their defense that's probably going to make the difference in this game. But Arizona State, they are hot when you wanted to be hot that last month of college football, but they've been off right now for 2 weeks. Are they kind of thrown out of what they were using to catapult them up to this point? Maybe they're kind of out of their rhythm because they haven't played football in so long. We're going to get to see coming up next week. So what's the outcome that we're going to go with Texas and that defense establishing itself, potentially forcing some turnovers. We have Texas winning more of a close one here, not covering the spread, but they're going to win this one 30-24. So getting a good sound win, but there's going to be some red alert marks there on this Texas offense that is going to show itself, leading some people to maybe question just how deep they could potentially make into the playoffs. But no matter what, they're going to make it through round 2. They're going to make it to round 3. We have them winning the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl 30-24, going with the plus 13.5, and we're going to go with the over. So that's our breakdown and predictions for our Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl round 2 matchup between the Texas Longhorns and the Arizona State Sun Devils. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. If you have any comments, please drop them below, and I will respond. Thank you.